Hello there, good morning, and welcome to another episode of Revelation. I should just do a disclaimer here, real quick. The videos have absolutely nothing to do with what I'm talking about today. It's just something for y'all to look at. Anyway, I want to go back to Revelation that I had a few years back, actually, quite a few years back. So, Charlie, Jean, and Ivan came across Central Florida, and they hit us pretty hard. And it was kind of revealed to me then that I needed to make a concerted effort to be ready should another hurricane hit. Now, figuratively or metaphorically speaking, right now the times that we are in is a hurricane. We have no idea what direction our economy is going to go. We have no direction back then what real direction those hurricanes were going to go. So today we are kind of living in a every day is a hurricane type of environment. With that being said, back then I had dreams, premonitions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, about how I needed to get things ready for the hurricane of the future. So I went out and bought a generator, and I showed the generator to friend and family, and I ended up ultimately buying 3 generators in one day because I would buy it, show it, they'd say, "Oh, I'll buy it from you," because their power was out after our hurricanes hit. But I was blessed enough that my power was still on. But seeing the trials that they were going through, not having power, showed me that I truly wanted to be prepared in the future, whether we had a storm rain hurricane out in the ocean, in the Gulf, or a hurricane in life. And now we have the hurricane in life going on, and I'm very grateful that I still have that generator and it functions as it's supposed to. I am grateful that every year prior to hurricane season, I am totally ready for the hurricane season with my different supplies that I'll need, as far as canned gas with my fuel additive in there, and the oil change on the generator, and the food supplies and the water supplies. The point that I'm making is, right now, life is truly a hurricane, and years ago I felt this hurricane coming, not just from Charlie, Jean, and Ivan, but just as a whole. So if I can give any advice to y'all, take the time to go out and get your life organized as if there was a major hurricane headed for you in the Gulf, in the Atlantic, in the Pacific. It really doesn't matter wherever you're listening. If you're listening in Australia, or if you're listening, somewhere in Europe, whatever, take the time to get yourself set up. And I'm not talking about 1 or 2 days. I'm talking about months, if not years. So when you do go up to the store and say you need a couple cans of soup, instead of buying 2, buy 4. Your water, instead of buying 1 case of water, buy 2 cases of water. And then when you use one of the cases, replace that 1 case so you always have at least 2 cases on hand. There is a hurricane brewing, and it is just a turning and a churning, and it's fixing to hit. And all I can tell y'all is make sure that you have things in order. kind of reminds me of the parable in the Bible about all the bridesmaids waiting for the groom, or the brides waiting for the groom. You know, half of them were prepared and had oil and had backup oil, and the other half weren't prepared. They only had the oil in their lamp, and they thought it would be enough. And then their lamps burned out, and they had to leave, and then they got left out in the cold. You know, God's pretty specific about He will help those who help themselves. He's not going to just arbitrarily provide every single thing you need if you're not willing to meet Him halfway. So it's kind of like the story of the guy in the boat. Guy's in the boat, and the boat gets a leak, and he's like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to swim, I'm going to drown. So he prays to God, please save me, please save me. So another boat comes by, and he says, here, come into my bigger boat. And the guy's like, no, I prayed to God, I'm going to let God save me. So the boat says, okay, and he leaves. So a little while later, you know, another intervention happens, and the person says, you know, he's got a helicopter and he's lowering the wire down to him or whatever, and he says, get on the wire and we'll lift you up to safety. And the guy's like, no, I'm depending on God to save me. Well, the boat ended up eventually sinking. The guy didn't swim and he drowned it. The point is, when he went and met God, he said, what the heck, I prayed to you and you didn't save me. And he goes, what do you mean I didn't save you? He said, I sent the boat to save you. I sent the helicopter to airlift you out to save you, and you turned them both down. That's kind of today's message, you know. God will help you, and He's going to send you things, whether it be a health crisis or, in our case, an economic crisis. You know, we're in a hurricane, and He's going to help you out, but you have to be willing to hear the messages that people give you. Get your ducks in a row and be ready. The hurricane, it's just a churning out there, and before you know it, it's going to be too late. He's already offered us, you know, several chances at this. He offered us the chances through showing us history in the Old Testament, and now He's given us the history of what is going to happen in the New Testament. Alrighty, y'all. I want to thank you for stopping by. Have an absolutely wonderful and blessed Biblical Sabbath.